Today we're covering Unit 3-4, Equations of Lines. What we're covering today you have seen most of and used most of these equations already, so it should be a review. The first equation that we're looking at is the slope-intercept form, the slope-intercept form, and you probably have used this the most. It is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, and b is actually a point 0b, and it's the y-intercept. The next form, which you're going to use a lot and actually is going to become our friend, to form this, we are given the slope and 1 point. If you're given 2 points, you choose one of them. And this form is y minus y1 equals m times x, times x minus x1. With this one, we can use algebra to form any of the other forms that we want to, whether it be slope-intercept form, standard form. We can use this form to start with. The standard form is ax plus by equals c. And notice we're using a capital B because it's not the little b that we're using right here. It does have a few rules that a has to be positive or 0, and that a, b, and c cannot be fractions. And of course, both a and b cannot equal 0, because otherwise we'd have 0 equals c, and we would just have a point. The horizontal line equation, if you look at a horizontal line, we'll let this be our x-axis and this is our y-axis. A horizontal line would be parallel to the x-axis. It would intercept the y-axis at 0b. And here the equation would be y equals b. The slope is 0. And every point on this line would have the same y value. So every point would have the same y value. The vertical line equation, let this be our y-axis and this is our x-axis. We'll have it intercept the x-axis at a point, let's call it C0. Our equation would be x equals c. The slope is undefined. Don't say no slope because some people no slope means flat. Slope equals 0. So we're going to say slope equals is undefined. On this one, every x has the same value. So let's work on a few examples here. For the first one, we have slope of 6, so m equals 6, and a y-intercept of -3. So we have the point 0, -3, so b would equal -3. So it would be y equals 6x minus 3. To plot this, the first thing you're going to do is to plot the y-intercept. So the first thing is plot y-intercept. So 0, -3, 1, 2, 3. So that point there is 0, -3. Then we're going to use the slope to find another point. So we go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1. and that would be our line. For our next example, we're going to write an equation in point slope form of the line whose slope is -3/5 and contains the point -10(8). So that would be y minus 8, which is our y1, equals -3/5 times x minus a -10. So y minus 8 equals -3/5 times x plus 10. To plot this one, the first thing we're going to do is to plot the point -10(8). So -10(8). And then use the slope to find another point. So down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next example is write an equation in slope-intercept form for a line containing -3, 6, and 9, -2. So the first step is slope. So -2 minus 6 is -8 over +12. So I have my slope is -2/3. Second is pick one point. And I'm going to pick the point -3, 6. Even if you pick the other point, we'll end up with the same equation in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to do y minus 6 equals -2/3 times x minus a -3. So I have y minus 6 equals -2/3 times x plus 3. Distribute the -2/3. I have y minus 6 equals -2/3 x minus 2. Add the 6 to both sides. I have y equals -2/3 x plus 4. And that's my final answer. Write an equation in standard form for the line containing the points 4, 9, 4, comma 9, and -2, 0. First thing is the slope. So -9 over -6, which would give me a slope of +3/2. I'm going to pick one point, and I'm going to pick the point -2, 0. So y minus 0 equals 3/2 times x minus a -2. So that'll give me x plus 2. Y minus 0 is y. 3/2x. 3/2 times 2 is 3. I'm going to subtract the -3/2 over to the other side. I cannot have a fraction in front of the x or the y, so I'm going to multiply both sides. And I also can't have x being negative by -2. So -2 times -3/2 would give me 3x. -2 times y would be minus 2y equals -6. And that is in standard form. The next one is to write an equation of the line containing the points -4, 2 and 6, -2. So the first thing I want to do is to find the slope. Negative -2 become +2, so -2 plus 2 is 0 over -10. So the slope is 0. If it still doesn't dawn on me what type of line that has slope 0, I can then pick one of the points. I will pick the first point. So y minus be y plus 2 equals 0 times x minus a -4. So anything times 0 is 0. So I have y equals -2. Now one thing you can notice when you look at these is that you see that both of the y's have the same value. If both y's have the same value, then all the y's would have to equal that value on that line. So you can go straight to the equation y equals -2 if you see that. Once you find slope is 0, then you can go back up and check again to see what the y values are equal to. The next one is write an equation of the line containing 1, 5 and 1, 7. First thing we're going to do is to find the slope. You can't divide by 0, so it's undefined. Once you find that the slope is undefined, go back up and look at your equation and see what the x is. And your equation would be x equals 1. Every point on that line would have the value x equals 1, and the y values would all be different. The next one is write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line perpendicular to the line. The next one is write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line perpendicular to the line y equals 1/5 x plus 2 and goes through points 2, -1. Then graph the two lines. Well, if our slope on the original line is 1/5, then the slope to the perpendicular line is -5/1. And we're given 1 point. So we're going to start with the point slope form. Y minus a -1 equals -5 x minus 2. Y plus 1 equals -5x plus 10. Subtract the 1 from both sides. We have y equals -5x plus 9. So we need to graph both lines. So for the first line, the y-intercept is 2. Our slope is 1/5, so up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have our first line, and that's y equals 1/5 x plus 2. For the second line, our y-intercept is 9. Our slope is -5/1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. And here's our second line. Y equals -5x plus 9. And for our last problem, a car rental company charges $25 per day plus a $100 deposit. So no matter what, we start paying $100, no matter how many days we do it. So our y-intercept is going to be 0, 100. So this is going to be our B because we always pay $100. Even if we don't drive it off the lot, but we rented it and we just turn it right back in, we have the $100. It's going to go up by $25 for each day that we have it. So this is our slope. So C equals $25 times the number of days that we have it plus the $100. We're asked to compare this rental cost to a company that charges $50 deposit but $35 a day. So to do this one, let's call it our option number 2, would be $35 a day plus only a $50 deposit. If a person rents a car for 9 days, which company has a better rate? So looking at the first one, we would have C equals 25 times 9 plus 100. And looking at the second one, we would have 35 times 9 plus 50. So the first company would charge us $325 for those 9 days. And the second company would charge us $365 for the day. So the first company has a better rate for 9 days rental. And that concludes our lesson for Unit 3-4.